Change is inevitable. We all know this. The company that reacts best to changes in customers, their preferences, and their overall demand not only survives, it thrives. As your company reacts to those customer changes, your logistics system must change also. You really want your logistics network to be three things at once: nimble, responsive, and flexible. The fast fashion industry is a great example of being nimble, and the king of that industry is the Spanish company Zara. The fast fashion industry specializes in bringing new clothing styles to market very quickly. The problem with new clothing styles is that it's very hard to predict what will and will not be popular with the customer. Zara is famous for keeping very low inventories in case the style does not catch on, and at the same time, being able to quickly replenish that inventory if the style does indeed become popular. They manage their entire logistics system in a very lean manner, not just by keeping low inventory levels, but also by delivering immediately in partially filled trucks, even sometimes using air transportation, by keeping some factory capacity in reserve, and by maintaining distribution centers with extra equipment and people to handle those peak demand sales. And all of those extra costs were covered by making sales that would otherwise have been lost. And by avoiding the cost of disposing of unwanted inventory, the logistics network at Zara is very nimble. It is also very responsive because it is not just the customer preferences that can change. You also must respond to unexpected increases in customer demand for your product. Once the factory makes the additional products needed, it is your logistics network that actually fills those extra customer orders. To do this, you have to have a very efficient distribution network, and you somehow have to maintain additional transportation capabilities. Now, this does not mean you have to buy extra trucks and have them sit idle just in case. Companies like Walmart maintain a fleet of trucks that can support their normal transportation needs, and they have contracts with commercial trucking firms to provide support as needed to meet extra orders. A company like Dell Computers outsources this delivery process, but certainly negotiates contracts with UPS to provide priority service as needed. When these outsourced relationships are managed properly, you truly have a supply chain partnership. If not managed properly, you have situations in which your company is accepting orders that your transportation provider cannot possibly deliver as promised. This has happened more than one holiday season when Amazon and UPS were not well coordinated. What if you're working in a small company that does not have this kind of leverage? Well, quite honestly, you might have to pay a premium price for last minute delivery contracts. But this certainly is preferable to losing the new orders. A wise man once told me that a small profit is much better than no profit at all. Now, what do I mean by being flexible? Sometimes your entire customer base may change, not their preferences, not their demand, but the customer itself. Take cell phones, for example. They began as a business instrument for doctors and lawyers and executives, and other key employees who needed to stay in touch. And as prices decreased and services improved, they quickly evolved into a personal device. The logistics system to distribute and deliver those products had to evolve also from one that originally filled relatively large orders directly to corporations. They soon had to deliver the retail distribution centers and directly to retail stores. Now, with so much business conducted on the internet, they also must deliver directly to the individual consumer at home. The distribution and transportation systems of your company must be adaptable to such changes in the market itself to make customers evolve. What is the best way for your company to be nimble, responsive, and flexible? Today, logistics is such a large part of the cost of goods. We are seeing more and more companies elevating the logistics function to positions such as Chief Logistics Officer and Chief Transportation Officer.